Today we're going to be learning about arithmetic sequences and series. We will identify and write equations for arithmetic sequences and find the sum of an arithmetic series. So, an arithmetic sequence increases or decreases by the same amount for each term. So here's some symbols that you will see throughout the lesson. The first is the symbol for summation. It's a capital sigma. D stands for the common difference. So how much we're increasing or decreasing by each term. A sub n stands for the nth term. Just means any term we want in the sequence, we can plug in whatever number we want for n. So if like we replaced the n with a 12, it would mean the 12th term. A sub 1 means the first term. S sub n means the sum of n terms. And the letter n just represents the number of terms. So here are some sequences. We're going to determine if they are arithmetic. So 4, 7, 10, 13, 16. This is arithmetic. Say yes. And because it's increasing by 3 each time, the common difference would be 3. Here we go. 3, 6, 12, 24, 48. Since we're multiplying this time, we're multiplying by 2 each term. It is not an arithmetic sequence. Here we're going 22, 17, 12, 7, 2. Yes, this is arithmetic. It has a common difference of -5. So since we're going down, we know our difference is a negative number. And then in number 4, 1, 2, 4, 7, 11. This one adds 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. That's not arithmetic because it's adding a different number each time. All right, so a sub n equals a sub 1 plus d times n minus 2. This is our sort of standard form formula to write a rule for our arithmetic sequences. The SOL does do a little, makes it a little bit different. They do a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1, and then they put d at the end, which is fine. Multiplication is commutative. It's just in math, typically we see the number in front of the parentheses, not at the end. Either way is fine. You will have access to the SOL formula sheet when you take the quiz on this. So just recognize that these mean the same thing. So find the nth term. This is just a fancy way of saying write an equation. So we'll keep a sub n will equal a sub 1, which is 2, minus 2 times n minus 1. And that's it. We find the nth term. That's it. Just write the equation. Write the rule. Again, that's the same thing, meaning write the equation and find a to the sub 15, the 15th term. We'll do that part shortly. So if we're going to write the rule, we need to know a sub 1. We need to know the common difference. So a sub 1 is 19 because it's the first thing in our list. And then we're adding 4 each time, so our common difference is 4. So a sub n equals 19 plus 4 times n. There's a slight chance that if you're doing a multiplication problem, or multiple choice problem, you'd need to distribute here and combine like terms. On the quiz, you can just leave it like this. There's no need to multiply out and simplify it. Then we want to find a sub 15. That's telling us n is 15. So a sub 15 would equal 19 plus 2 plus 2 plus 4 times 15 minus 1. And then just pop that right into Desmos. 19 plus 4 times 15 minus 1. And we get that the 15th term would be 75. All right, write the rule for the nth term given 2 terms. So we need to find the common difference. Something to help you out. Common difference is basically the same as slope. Finding common difference is the same as So the common difference, you're going to take our 2 terms, we are going to subtract them, and then we want to know how far apart they were in the sequence, so 10 minus 4. Okay, so that means our terms went up by 30 over the course of 6 terms, so our common difference is 5. Now there's 2 ways you can find the first term. Okay. If a sub 4 is 18 and we're going up by 5, if we want to go backwards, we're going to go down by 5. So a sub 3 would be 13, a sub 2 would be 8, a sub 1 would be 3. Okay, so you just write them out. Or you could say, let's just pick it, we can just use the first one. 18 was the 4th term. Don't know what a sub 1 is, but we know we went up by 5 and 4 terms minus 1. So I'm using the formula we had originally, just plugging everything in but a sub 1. I chose to use the 4th term. We also could have put in 48 and then our n would have been 10 instead. 4 minus 1 is 3 times 5 is 15. 15, so a sub 1 is 3. So either you can write all the terms out, which we were given the 4th term, to go back to the first isn't too bad. You're only given like the 15th and the 85th terms, you might want to use the algebra instead. So our formula would be a sub n equals 3 plus 5 times n minus 1. Determine which term is 57 in this sequence. So when it says which term, we want to know what n equals. Okay, so we know we want to get 57. We started with negative 59. We're going up by 4. Okay, so now we can solve. Add 59. 29 to both sides. 116. You could distribute here, but I would recommend dividing both sides by 4. So we get 29 equals n minus 1. So n must be 50. So we can say 57 is 30th. So that is all dealing with our formula for writing the rule with our a sub n. Now we're going to look at the sum. So it basically, when it says s sub n, if it said s sub 20, it wants us to add up the first 20 terms in the sequence. So there's two different ways we can do this. We have this formula here, which if we have all that information, great. So here it wants us to find, we've got our pattern, and it tells us we want to go up through the first 19 terms. In order to do that, we need to know what the 19th term is, which they don't give us. But if you look at this summation notation down here for number 10, we can actually type that straight into Desmos. So let's sort of look at what we're looking at. So this symbol means add up. We want the first 19 terms. So we're starting at 1 and we're going till 19. Then we just have to write our rule. So our first term is 2, and then our common difference is 1. So in here we would say 2 plus 1 times n minus 1. Now that we've written our rule and changed it into summation form, now we can type it straight into Desmos. We're going to go to functions, we're going to go to miscellaneous, and then we have our sigma here. Okay, we're going to start at 1, we're going up to 19, and then 2 plus 1 times n minus. And it tells us that the first 19 terms of that sequence will add up to 210. If they already give it to you in summation form, literally just type it into Desmos. Don't overthink this. Do be careful because sometimes where it wants you to start, so it wants us to start at the 3rd term this time and go to the 14th. So just make sure you're typing things carefully. So again, functions, miscellaneous tab, summation, we're starting at the 3rd term, we're going to the 14th, and 5n minus 2 is our rule. So that one adds up to 486. That's all for today. Fill in your summary, and I'll see you in class.